it's Wednesday and it's actually Crochet Wednesday this week. I'm just managing to sneak this in between a couple of appointments we've got to sort out. And what we're going to be looking at is this super cute, super easy bolero cardigan. So it fits really nicely on the back as well for our Sindy or Barbie or similar sized doll. Because it's a bolero jacket, it doesn't matter if it doesn't quite come across, it doesn't matter if it comes together. If you wish to add a button, I mean, it is easy enough to do. You can just pull it across and pop a little button in there if you wish. But by leaving it sort of neutral, it'll fit most dolls. It is in a 4-ply yarn. I have a selection of 4-ply here. This is the one that I did it in. Now, this is one I got from a wool fair last year, and I've not done anything with it, but I loved it because it's got the glitter in it. So I'm going to see if I can get another one out of that, but not for the tutorial because it's a variegated. I think it's a little harder to see. I've also got this one, which I got from What Mustard Made, and this is Mohair Burt. Now, that's what that rolls up into. It is a lot finer in some respects, but I think it's almost a lace weight, but I think I will still be able to do a little cardigan. So I'm hoping to make some little fluffy ones for those as well, because I need to make a couple for Dolly Con for when I do it. But I think for today, we're going to be using this one. I did have a lilac, but I think I'm going to go for this one. This is I always say it wrong. It's a Shakmaya Regia. It's a baby yarn. It's a baby 4-ply. I quite like the baby 4-plies because they're nice and soft and very, very fractionally finer. Not massively so. I mean, this lilac is a James Brett 4-ply, but it is a baby 4-ply, so it's a little bit finer. And again, that softness. I'm going to be using a 3.00 millimeter hook. I have my usual scissors. I have my needles. Obviously, I have my... Oh! I have my magnet that's stuck to my scissors. That is a bit of a hair clip. We can get rid of that. And I have my little helper for today. Obviously, I have my vintage Sindy here, who I've actually made this for. I'm going to do this plain, though, this time also, because I made this and I adore variegated yarn. But then all of a sudden, I realised I got nothing to put it on, because all their clothes are quite bright and patterned. And then this didn't work, so I think I've either got to concentrate on getting them some plainer clothes, or I need to make some plainer cardigans. So that's why I think we'll go for this sort of pretty, I don't know what you call it, it's a blue, a light turquoise, mint, whatever you want to call it. This is what we're going to work on. It is a quick make, and any beginner could do it. It's not a hard thing to make at all. It is predominantly in trebles, a few double crochets thrown in there as well. So we're going to start off with our slip knot. Cindy's going to get in the way there, isn't she? I'm going to just layer further up there. And we're going to pop it onto our hook. And from there, just 17 chain. So 1, 2, don't do it too tight. 3, 4, can you see I'm quite relaxed? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17. Now that is the base of it. We are now got to do, because we're going to go back down it, but we're going to go back down it in treble, so I need 3 more chain, but that's the turning chain, and it also counts as our first, oh, I'm just looking, oh sorry, I got a message from my friend there. She's given me a lift back up to one of the doctors that we've got to go to today, so she just sent me a message anyway. Thank you, Dawn. So I'm going to do 3 more, 1, 2 and 3. Now that 1, 2 and 3 is a stitch, so we need to go into the 4th, which is this one, with the treble. Remember, wrapping the yarn and through. So that is now the equivalent to having 2 trebles there, because the chain counted as a treble, and then also the treble after it. We are now going to do just 1 treble into the next one, and then we're going to do 2 trebles, and that is the pattern. It's going to be 2 trebles in one, so this is the pattern now, 1 treble in the next one, 2 treble in this one. It curls a little bit to start with, but it'll be okay. I did a 2 there, didn't I? And 1 treble in the next one. So we're going to do that all the way along. It should leave you, so your last stitch is 2 trebles. We will see. Counting doesn't always quite work if you've sort of missed a chain or something like that. I'm hoping I've done it. So it's weird. I know I count the chain. Sometimes it seems to work and sometimes it doesn't. But we can get past it, so don't worry about it. So that was a 2. This is a 1. I think this colour's going to come out really nice. I think this might have to be a hat cardigan set, perhaps. The only thing is, it puts me off doing them as a set or selling them as a set is because, okay, the cardigan will fit sort of other fashion dolls of this proportion, but a lot of them have got smaller heads than Cindy's. It would fit a Fleur doll because she's got a larger head, but because Cindy's got a larger head, the hat would be too big for Barbie then. So that's why I'm inclined to sort of do them as 2 pieces. But I think I'm still going to make a hat in this colour, but I will make the hat to fit Cindy. I've got little bits of hair. It's bugging me. I've just brushed her hair, and that was their age, isn't it? I mean, 'cause that's her original hair. She's doing really well. And I've got little bits come out, so I keep catching little bits up in the actual crochet, which is very annoying. That was a 1. Yes, that was a 1. We're almost there. This is a 2. So just going into that chain, nice and relaxed with your stitches. This is a 2. Yeah, we've done it. It's going to work. It's going to work. This is a 1, and my last stitch should be 2 trebles into the same stitch, and it is. Look, you can see it is there. So 2 into there. 1 and 2. So that is the first part. We're starting from the top of the cardigan here. We're going to do 3 chain. 1, 2 and 3. That's our first stitch. We are now going to do in the base of that 3, which is here, another treble. So again, we've done 2 into 1 there, and we're going to follow the same pattern all the way along. So the next one has to be a 1 because that was a 2, and then a 2, and just alternate 2 1 2 1 2 1, and keep your fingers crossed when you get to the very end your last stitch will be a 2. If it isn't, we need to make it a 2 because of the shaping. So okay, it's not good to have 2 2s next to each other, but it's not the end of the world for this sort of pattern. It is quite a flexible pattern. It is one that can be done for larger dolls, smaller dolls. The idea or the system of it. I had considered doing a smart doll cardigan because that's a quick and easy one again. I might do it in 4-ply though because it's a little bit finer. You could do it in a double knit. You could argue it's a chunky one. It's like we wear different knitwear from very fine to very chunky, and the dolls can have the same, and it means it gives you a little bit of flexibility if you haven't got a finer yarn, because not everybody likes working with a relatively fine yarn. I don't mind. This is my favourite sort of width. I was going to say then, that's the wrong one. This is my favourite type of yarn, is the 4-ply. I do work in the others as well, down to a 1-ply. I don't really work much above an Aran weight. That was a 1. I'm talking too much. I'm wondering how this is going to come out, because as I said, this is a sock wool. This is just a normal baby 4-ply. But again, the style, you get away with it a little bit. That was a 2. We're almost at the end. There's not many rounds to it at all. I'm calling it rounds, the rows, because I do so many rounds. I'm always referring to things as rounds. But in this situation, it is a row. So a 2. Don't forget, if you need to slow me down, you can slow me down in the settings. Although my voice slows, you will be able to at least see the technique a little bit slower, so it may help you. If you know what you're doing, because I've said just alternating 2 1 2 1. Ooh, I'm pushing it. Right. I'm going to make that a 2. And then I still have a stitch. Don't forget this. I'm still going to put 2 in there because it's an end one and I need it to go straight down the front, so I'm popping in a 2 there. I've somewhere, because I've been talking, and guarantee somewhere I've gone and put So 2 2s together or something like that. I've got to stop talking. Right, next round. Row. I'm doing it again. Stop it. We're going to be doing the same again. No, we're not. I'm fibbing. We're going to be doing 2 at the ends and then just 1 in each one. That makes it easier, doesn't it? So 3 chain, 2 in the 1 in the base of that, which makes 2. Now just 1 in every single one. Easy bit now. Just 1 treble in every single treble. This wool is really soft. This Baby Regia, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, is one of my favourite yarns, again within the 4-ply, because it's softer. It only comes in small balls though, which sometimes is good, because if you're only making a couple of bits and pieces for your dolls rather than anything larger, it sort of saves you money a little bit as well, buying a smaller ball. I certainly wouldn't cheapskate on the 4-ply yarn. I do think it is well worth investing in a good ball of wool. I mean, you can get sort of a sock wool, a good quality one from about £5.99 upwards. It can get really expensive depending on its content, whether it has a merino content or more wool content. You can just feel the softness on this. I've lost the ball band. This is a wool I've had for ages, and I have used it for various things. But it's Shakmire, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that right, that bit. It's got a bit of a fluff there on the wool though, to trim that afterwards. Not quite sure what that was. Oh. I have a strange feeling as I'm doing this, it feels larger than the one I did last night. Just shows different wool, even though it all says 4-ply, can make a massive difference. Because I'm expecting when I do the mohair for it to come out slightly smaller. So you may have to have a play around with your yarn. If you find your 4-ply is a little bit thick and it is coming out too large, just drop down maybe to a 2.5 hook and vice versa. If you go up a hook and your yarn is still very, I don't know, it will look looser, should I say. It'll give it like a, but you just say that's like a lacy effect. Almost at the end of this one. Now don't forget at the end, well I will be if I can get the stitch done. At the end I want it to be 2. Now don't be fooled, because you'll get to that and you think I'm at the end. There isn't. Look, there's this chain here. You mustn't forget the chain, because it is an actual stitch. Harder to get into, but it is a stitch. So 2 into that last one. So for that row, it was 2 at the end, 1 all the way along, 2 in the end. That is all we did. This time round, I'm just reading my writing. I've written as above, which means the same as the previous round. I've got to stop it. Row, row, row. Right, bear with me. Right, okay, so we've got a 2 in 1, 1 in everything. So we have 3 chain, counts as our first, into the base. So that means we have 2 trebles, equivalents in that first stitch. Now just 1 in every single one. I'm pleased I've actually got this done on a Wednesday this week. So we had appointments as well last week and it's just completely thrown me. In fact, I've not actually done what I intended. This is the only one that I've done that I intended yesterday's video. There's a little bit sort of impromptu, not what I was planning. Hope you enjoyed it if you did watch it, and thank you very much for watching it. I love my charity shop finds. Right, we're halfway down with this one. It's catching a little bit now. It does have, I think it must have a wool content. You can feel it's soft, but you can see how this is little tiny sort of bits sticking up, and that is what catches if you're not careful. They're all right until you have to undo them, and then because of all the tiny little fibres, it can actually catch. Let's have a look what time we're on. We're not doing bad. It's only 14 minutes. That's all I've done this. And I would have said the first 4 minutes maybe, it was just me talking. So at that rate, I'm on about 10 minutes and I'm almost done with this cardigan. We have a couple more rows. Well, I said half rows, half rounds then, didn't I, as I was changing rows. And then we've got to go round the edge just to sort of finish it off. You don't have to. That's just a personal preference because I like it sort of neat edged. But to be honest, you can get away without doing it with this as well. Almost at the end. I should try it on her, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to run with it with this yarn and see how it actually comes out. Really pleased with the colour though. A couple of them have got turquoisey type dresses. Right, remember that's top of the chain, that one. So I'm going to do 2 and stop a second. So you can see the shape coming. So it sort of goes over the shoulder. So you have a nice little bit of shape in there. We are now going to start working where the armhole is. So we're going to do 3 chain. Counts as our treble. We're not doing one in the base this time. What we are going to be doing is 1 treble in each of the next 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now we need to work out what the armhole's doing, and what we're going to do by doing that, it just really could not be any easier. We're going to miss 9 stitches, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and into our 10th, that's a little bit hard because it's holding it, we're going to be doing a treble. So when you pull it together, I would then tighten your yarn because it'll have gone loose for doing that. So a treble. So can you see what I've done? All I've done is miss that and jump to the next one. So that was 1 we've done there. We need to do a few more now. I haven't actually written it. Why have I not written it? I've not written how many stitches to do next. Right, I'm going to work that out then, and I'll show you how you can work it out. So remember, we need 1 there, and there's 6 more. 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Then we need 10 missing. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So let's have a count now. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 11. We have 11. In fact, let me write that down. I have not got a clue why I didn't write that down last night. Probably because I've done a couple of these, so I just sort of winged it a little bit. Very surprised. I normally do write it down. It makes it easier for later. If you're making up any little patterns, I would recommend you write them down, because sometimes you don't do them for a while and you go, oh, that little cardigan I made, and you go back to it and you can't remember. I know if you've got a video it's not so bad, but if they're your own designs, you do need to sort of, oh, over there, behave. It's gone right over now. Let me check how many I've done. 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 more. 11. Now we have to miss 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, and into this one. Now, as I say, you're going round. It's up to you which way you fold it, as long as you go into that stitch, but then you're going to have to tighten that yarn up because otherwise you get a loose stitch. There we go. And then just DC, treble all the way to the end. We're not DCing, we're trebling. If you're in the US, you are DCing, but we are in the UK, so we're trebling. I think you can see that no matter what I'm saying. Where am I going? Right, there we are. Now, this is, as I say, where it's... I'm dropping my hook now. This is where it sometimes gets difficult to see because that chain there sort of disappears. It is there. We must pick it up because otherwise you're going to lose your stitches. So now we have a place for the arms to go. Yeah, so we've got 2 armholes there. I'm going to do again 3 chain, and I'm just going to do 1 treble in every single treble. We're almost there. After this row, row. I did it. All we're going to be doing is a double crochet, which we are doing a double crochet. It's not that I've said it wrong. All the way around to sort of just edge it off. But you don't have to. Just personal choice. I think the size looks about okay. We'll soon find out when we try it on. I don't over worry if a size comes out wrong because I have a couple of other dolls, different sizes. So if something doesn't fit one, there's going to be one of them somewhere among the collection that will take on the little outfit. Just a few more stitches to go. It's a little bit harder when you go over this bit, so make sure you get your stitch. Make sure it's nice and tight over the space as well. Oh, careful. As I said, when it gets towards the end, it's so easy to lose it because it pulls across. Don't forget your chain. Right, so we've done, basically, you could actually say, that is it. I have finished my cardigan, but I want to edge round it. Decide which is your inside and which is your outside. Because we're working in rows, there isn't, and it was trebles, there's not a definite which side is which. You can look on the neck chain, that helps a little bit. To me, that's probably, because the way that sits is the right side, that's the wrong side. So because of that, I'll turn mine the other way around. I'm going to do a chain, but then I'm going to turn my work around because I want to work along the bottom first. Doesn't really matter. Basically, if you know what you're doing, I'm just doing a double crochet into every single stitch. Up the front though, because they are trebles, some people would do three double crochets in each space. I'm only going to do 2. I just think it keeps it a bit neater. I'll show you that when I get to that side. So I did a chain, I turned, and I'm just going to do a double crochet into each stitch. Now you can see at the moment I'm going in the top of each stitch, but you can actually go between if you wanted to. It depends on your yarn. As long as we're neatening it off and as long as we're doing the double crochets. I'm actually got my back to my window at the moment and I can feel it's gone really dark out there. So I think we're in for some more rain. I know some of the country's got some terrible weather and it looks like we've got another storm coming for the weekend. Not great. And my fences are already down. Careful not to catch your work. It does, look, can you see how it's just caught then? It gets in the way sometimes, so that can be a little irritating. You're definitely going to have a hat, Cindy, in this because it's very nice wool. What shall we do? Should we just do a bobble hat? We might do just a simple bobble hat for her just to match. Right, so now I'm on my last stitch, yeah? So I want to go up and along the front. I'm going to do a little chain first. And now this, I'm going into the space now. I'm not going to try and pick up stitches. I'm going into the space between those trebles. And I'm just going to do 2 stitches. Jump to where the next treble post is and just 2. Like I say, you would argue it should be 3 because they are trebles, but I just think 2 keeps it neater. 2. You see what it's doing? So it almost creates a pattern. Sort of like, look, can you see? Then that's making it neat enough. 2. Almost at the top. A 2. I'm going to do a chain again, and now I'm going to work along. This is the top, but because that is a chain, you can pick up your chain, but I think it can look a little bit messy if you're not careful, if you split the chain. So I'm actually going to go in between the posts for this one. Might be a bit naughty and some might disapprove of that, but I'm going between the posts. It still gives a nice neat edge. If anything, it gives a little bit more definition to the stitch that's below. Can you see? Then that looks neat. So I'm not trying to kill myself trying to get in that chain, because sometimes when the pattern tells you to go up one side of a chain and down the other side, It's difficult because it's only sort of a chain, so it's like which bit, or it can leave it really loose, and I don't like that either. So I'm going in the post, between the posts for this one. We're almost there. 25 minutes we're on. So I reckon without the talking, and if you were sat nice and quiet, you could probably get a cardigan out in what, half an hour? So saying that, it's all right saying half an hour, but I think sometimes the hardest bit, we're nearly at the end there, I need to keep an eye on that, yeah, is actual sewing up and everything. There's just a couple more of these. One more, in fact. Now we're going down the front. Remember, you're going in the post, and we're just doing 2 stitches in each one. So we have 1, 2, go to the next post, 1, 2, next one, 1, 2, almost there, 1, 2, and then the moment of truth, does it fit her? 1, 2, last one, 1, 2, and I'm just going to slip stitch into the very first one, pull it through and grab my scissors if my needle minder keeps off them. So strong, that needle minder. Right, let's pull it through. So I'm going to actually fasten off for once properly, because I want to see what it looks like on her. So we've only got 2 threads to thread through, so it's nice and quick. Thread through as far as you think it's not going to come undone, because there's always that worry. I'm going to take this one just along the top in between the stitches. So I'm going quite a way. You can do it bit by bit if you wish, or just make sure you don't pull that tight then though. Make sure it's not tight, otherwise you'll get a gather. And I think that, you can see how it gathers, I think that's adequate. That's not going to go anywhere. Last piece. There's always bits of yarn hanging around here. Suddenly find a piece stuck to your clothes when you're on your way out. Remember, this is my front, so I'm going to just push it through, and I'm going to run it along. I'd rather run it along the top and the bottom than the front, because it can sort of make it bulky there. So as long as you've got some nice stitches, these aren't so easy to get in, so I'm doing them bit by bit. That should be fine. So you just do it for as long as you feel confident it's not going to come undone. There's nothing worse than your work coming undone. So first of all, we'll fold the little cardigan out and see what it looks like. I love the colour. I'm really pleased with that. So you can see we have a little cardigan. Might want flattening a little bit because they do curl as you're working with them. So let's see if it actually fits her. And then hopefully she's got some plain cardigans to go with some of those fancy dresses. Oh, don't catch. The only other thing as well, you have to be careful, because when it's sort of more of a lacy pattern, their fingers catch in it. It's still got bits of her hair dropping out. I'm really pleased with that. I think that's a nice fit. I sort of actually prefer it to the variegated one, which is not like me, because I love my variegated yarn. As you can see, we have quite a nice fit on the back there, because you don't want too much sort of waste here. I find when I'm making the doll clothes that you sometimes need a lot less in the back than you think. But apart from that, the hair's going everywhere. Know the feeling. I'm really pleased. I hope you like that. Please sort of make a comment, like, subscribe and share would be fabulous. Click on the notification bell at the bottom, somewhere down there, isn't it, Cindy? Somewhere down there. If you wish to see any of my other tutorials, because there's always a mixture of dolls or amigurumi or seasonal crochet, shall we call it. And obviously I've got my other little bits of videos that some of you look at as well. So thank you very much for watching. See you very soon, and bye for now. Bye.